In the spring of 1934, my grandmother Della stood in a root cellar under a farmhouse on County Road 6 outside Tipton, Indiana, and counted 41 quart jars of green beans she had put up for $1.10 in salt and lids. She kept a little brown ledger on a nail by the cellar door, and in it she wrote down everything the family ate and everything they threw away, and in 11 years the throwaway column never once filled a page. I am her granddaughter Pearl, and these are 25 freezer tricks that outlived the Depression, and they still cut my grocery bill in half. Della never owned a freezer in her life. She had a cellar, a springhouse, and a canning shelf, and she fed 9 people through the worst money this country ever saw. I took her discipline, and I moved it into a white chest freezer in my basement, and that freezer is the only reason the woman on a fixed income eats like I do. A freezer, the way they sell it to you, is where food goes to die. You buy it, you freeze it, you forget it, and a year later you scrape grey ice off something you can't name, and you feel like a fool. That is not the freezer's fault. That is the food business counting on you to forget, because forgotten food gets rebought, and rebought food is how the supermarket pays for its parking lot. Della's ledger never let anything be forgotten. Mine won't either. Stay with me until number 7, because that one saved my grandmother's whole winter, and it cost you nothing but a pencil. Number 14 is the trick the appliance industry would rather you never learned, and number 19 is the one I almost left out because I was embarrassed how much money it puts back in my pocket. Settle in and hit that subscribe button now, while you're thinking of it, because I leave the porch light on for the people who stay. My promise to you is plain. Spend less, waste nothing, and keep the kitchen wisdom the store would rather you forget. Let's start at 25 and count our way down to the one that matters most. Number 25. Freeze your milk the day before the date, not the day after. When milk hits $1.98 a gallon at the Kroger on Main Street, and your church hands you 2 gallons from the food pantry on a Tuesday, you don't drink it fast, you freeze it. Pour off a cup first so the jug has room to swell. Lay it flat on its side and it keeps 3 months. It separates a little when it thaws. You shake it. Della never wasted a drop of milk in her life because hers came from one cow named Pet, and the wasted quart was a wasted morning of milking. A jug you freeze is a jug you don't buy twice. That is $2 you keep, and $2 is $2. Number 24. Butter is the cheapest thing in the store to stockpile, and the food companies pray you don't know it. When the after Thanksgiving sale drops butter to $1.59 a pound at the Marsh in 1998, my mother bought 16 pounds and froze the lot, and that butter baked every cookie we gave away that Christmas. Butter freezes a solid year with no change at all. Leave it in the wrapper, slide it in a bag, and forget the date, because there's nothing to fear. The sale is the only honest price they'll ever show you. Buy the honest price and freeze the rest. Number 23. The end-of-day bread shelf is a gift, and your freezer is how you accept it. Bakeries mark day-old loaves down to 99 cents because tomorrow they have to throw them out, and a frozen loaf doesn't know it's a day old. I buy 4 at a time, freeze 3, and pull 1 the night before. Della baked her own in a wood stove, and she'd have laughed at paying for bread, but she'd have nodded hard at refusing to pay full price for it. Frozen bread tastes like Tuesday's bread on Sunday. Remember that bread, by the way. You'll see it again at number 11. Number 22. Freeze your herbs in olive oil in the ice cube tray. The fresh parsley you buy for one recipe rots brown in the crisper in 4 days, and you've thrown away 79 cents you didn't need to spend. Chop it, bake it in the tray, cover it in oil, freeze it, and pop a cube straight into the pan all winter. My neighbour Lorraine on the next farm over taught me this in 1987, and I have not bought a sad plastic clamshell of herbs since. Green that doesn't rot is green money you keep. Number 21. Overripe bananas are not garbage. They are banana bread waiting on a schedule that suits you. The grocer slashes spotty bananas to 19 cents a pound to clear the bin, and that bruised price is the best bread you'll ever bake. Peel them, freeze them on a tray, then bag them. Della would not throw a banana to the hogs while a child in the house still had teeth. A bunch of 19-cent bananas is 2 loaves of bread, and 2 loaves is a week of breakfasts. Number 20. Freeze whole tomatoes in fall when they cost nothing, skins and all. At the end of August, the farm stand on Route 28 sells a half bushel of canning tomatoes for $4 because they cannot move them fast enough. You don't even peel them. You wash them, freeze them whole on the tray, and when you drop a frozen tomato in warm water, the skin slides off in your hand like a sock. Della canned hers because she had no other choice. I freeze mine because I'd rather spend that August afternoon on the porch than at a boiling kettle. Same tomato, half the sweat. Number 19. Here it is, the one I nearly cut. Save every vegetable scrap in a bag in the freezer and never buy broth again. The onion ends, the carrot tops, the celery butts, the parsley stems, all of it goes in a gallon bag in the door, and when the bag is full, you boil it 20 minutes and you have a pot of broth that costs you precisely nothing. A box of store broth is $2.49 and it is mostly salt water with a picture of a chicken on it. I keep a bag going year round and I have not bought broth since the Clinton administration. Della called this pot liquor and she'd have boxed my ears for ever pouring vegetable water down the drain. That $2.49, 52 weeks a year, is $130. That is a tank of heating oil. That is not nothing. Number 18. Freeze grated cheese, not block cheese, and shred it yourself. The pre-shredded bag costs more per pound, and they coat it in wood pulp so it won't clump, and you are paying premium for sawdust. Buy the £2 brick on sale, shred it in 5 minutes, freeze it loose in a bag, and shake out a handful frozen straight onto the casserole. My cousin Ruth ran a household of 6 on 1 income, and she swore the day she stopped buying pre-shredded was the day her dairy bill dropped by 1/3. Shred it yourself and keep the $1 they hid in the convenience. Number 17. Freeze cookie dough in balls and bake 2 at a time instead of 2 dozen. A woman alone does not need 4 dozen cookies. She needs 2, warm, on a Thursday when the house is quiet. Scoop the whole batch into balls, freeze them on a tray, bag them, and bake straight from frozen with 2 extra minutes. Della baked for 9 and never once for 1, and I think she'd find it tender that her recipe now warms a single plate. 2 warm cookies and no waste is its own small dignity. Number 16. Freeze lemon and lime juice in the ice cube tray when the bag is marked down. A net bag of lemons going soft sells for $1 at the Aldi, and a single cube of real lemon juice in your tea beats the plastic squeeze bottle that's mostly preservative. Juice the whole bag in 1 sitting, freeze the cubes, and you have real citrus for months from $1's worth of fruit nobody else wanted. The soft fruit on the markdown cart is the same fruit 1 day early. Buy the day early price. Number 15. Blanch and freeze the greens before they wilt, never after. A bunch of collards or spinach turns to slime in the drawer in 3 days, but 2 minutes in boiling water a plunge in cold and into the freezer, and they keep 8 months bright as the day you bought them. Della grew hers in the kitchen garden and put up what the family couldn't eat fresh because a frost-killed row was a winter without iron. Greens you save are doctor visits you don't pay for. Keep the green and keep your strength. Number 14. Now this is the one the appliance people would rather you never heard. Keep your freezer full, even with jugs of plain water, because a full freezer costs less to run than an empty one. Frozen mass holds the cold, so the motor kicks on half as often, and you'll feel it on the electric bill come summer. The appliance industry sells you a bigger box and then sells you the power to run it half empty, and that is 2 profits off one woman's ignorance. I fill the gaps with milk jugs of tap water frozen solid, and they double as ice for a power outage. A full freezer is a slower meter, and a slower meter is money you keep without lifting a finger. Number 13. Portion and freeze your meat the day you bring it home from the sale, never the package as it came. The family pack of chicken thighs is $1.49 a pound, when the breasts are $3.99. And the only reason folks buy the breast is they can't picture cooking for the week off one big pack. Split it into supper-sized bags the minute you walk in. Label each with a grease pencil and freeze flat. Della butchered a hog every November and wrapped every cut in paper by hand, labelled in that same pencil hand as her ledger. Buy the cheap pack, break it down, and eat the rich man's chicken at the poor man's price. Number 12. Freeze your soups and stews flat in bags, standing them up like books once they're solid. A single woman cooks a pot of bean soup on Sunday and faces it for 9 straight days or watches it spoil, and both of those are a kind of sorrow. Freeze it in flat 1-bowl bags instead, and a Sunday pot becomes a month of easy suppers with no 2 the same week. Cook once on the day you have the heart for it, and eat warm on the days you don't. That is a freezer doing the kindest thing a kitchen can do for a person living alone. Number 11. Make breadcrumbs from your freezer heels and never buy a can again. Remember the day-old bread back at number 23? The stub ends nobody wants go into a bag in the freezer, and when it's full, you run it through the blender into crumbs that cost you nothing. A can of seasoned crumbs is $1.89 for stale bread and a shake of salt, and you already own the bread. Della saved every crust for dressing and bread pudding, because a thrown crust was a slapped face to a woman who'd seen hungry. The bread you already paid for shouldn't be sold back to you in a can. Number 10. Freeze coffee, but the good way, in a sealed bag, pressed flat with the ear out. Coffee on sale is $4 off a can, and stored loose it goes flat in a month, but sealed airtight in the freezer, it holds its strength half a year. My father drank a pot a day and bought it by the case on sale, and froze the cans in the chest freezer in the garage all my childhood. Buy the sale, seal the air out, and drink rich coffee at the cheap day price every morning. Number 9. Freeze egg whites and yolks separately in the ice cube tray when eggs are nearly free. Eggs hit 89 cents a dozen on a loss leader sale to get you in the door, and you can only eat so many before they turn. Crack the extras, freeze whites and yolks in separate cubes, 1 egg per cube, and bake with them all year. Della's hens slowed in winter, and a frozen egg from a summer flush would have struck her as something close to magic. 89-cent eggs in February is a sale that lasts till June. Number 8. Freeze your onions and peppers already chopped, so the work is done before the tired day comes. A 3-pound bag of onions is $1.29, and half of it softens before you use it, but chopped and frozen on a tray, it pours like gravel into the pan all winter. There is no sadder thing in the kitchen than a good onion gone soft in the bottom of the bin. Levine from number 22 does a whole afternoon of chopping each October with her sister, and they split the bags. Do the work on a strong day so the weekday still gets a hot supper. Number 7. Here is the one I promised, the one that saved Della's whole winter. Freeze a written inventory, tape to the freezer lid, and cross off every single thing you take out. That little brown ledger on the cellar nail was the original, and the tape on my freezer is its grandchild. A freezer you can't see into is a freezer you forget, and forgotten food is the only food you truly waste. I write down what goes in, I cross off what comes out, and nothing dyes grey in the back corner where the light never reaches. It costs a pencil and 2 minutes a week. Della fed 9 people through 1934 because she knew to the jar exactly what she had. Knowing what you own is the whole secret, and they sell you forgetting for a living. Number 6. Freeze your overstock of holiday baking butter and nuts the day after the sale, because January robs you blind. Walnuts and pecans crash to half price the week after Christmas and climb right back up by spring, and a pound of pecans frozen in December bakes a free pie in July. Della cracked black walnuts off the tree by the lane with a flat iron, because she'd never have paid store money for a nut. The sale week price frozen is the only price you should ever pay for a nut. Buy the bottom and freeze it tall. Number 5. Freeze ginger root whole and grate it frozen, so the dollar knob you buy lasts a year instead of a week. Fresh ginger turns to a shriveled grey thumb in the crisper before you finish one recipe and you've thrown out most of $1. Whole in the freezer, it grates finer than fresh and never spoils. My daughter-in-law showed me this one, and I was nearly 70 and still learning, which I tell you so you know it's never too late. $1 of ginger that lasts a year is 90-some cents the produce aisle doesn't get back. Number 4. Freeze your sale-priced sausage and bacon in pairs wrapped tight, not in the slab. Bacon goes to $2 a pound on sale from 4, and the family slab dries out before one person works through it. Roll it in pairs, freeze each roll, and pull 2 slices for a Sunday without thawing the whole pound. Della rendered every scrap of fat off the November hog into a crock for the whole year's cooking, and nothing off that animal ever hit the ground. 2 slices when you want them beats a pound gone rancid in the back. Buy the sale, wrap it small, and waste none. Number 3. Freeze your buttermilk and your sour cream in the cube tray, because the recipe never needs the whole carton. You buy a pint of buttermilk for 1 batch of biscuits, and the rest sours and slumps in the door for a month before you pour it out. Freeze it in cubes, thaw what one recipe needs, and a 59-cent carton makes biscuits 6 times instead of once. Della clabbered her own milk on the windowsill and called nothing about it waste. The dairy case counts on you buying the whole carton for the 1 spoonful, and the cube tray is how you tell them no. Number 2. Freeze your garden and your gleaning at the peak, the hour it's ripe, not the day it's soft. The neighbour's zucchini you can't give away in July, the apples on the ground at the orchard you pick free for the asking, the sweet corn at 12 ears for $2 at the stand on Route 28. All of it goes in at its very best hour and comes out in February, tasting like summer. This is the whole of Della's life in one sentence. She caught everything at its peak and held it against the lean months. And that is why 9 people who had nothing never went to bed truly hungry. Catch the harvest at its best, and the worst month of the year still eats like August. And number 1, the humblest one, the one Della would have named first. Freeze nothing you won't actually eat, and write down everything you do. The whole trick, the trick under all the others, is the brown ledger and the taped inventory and the simple refusal to let food become a thing you forgot you owned. An empty plan beats a full freezer every time. Della fed 9 through the Depression, not because she had more than her neighbours, but because she wasted less than anyone in the county, and she knew it down to the jar. A freezer is just a cold box. The ledger is the wisdom. The rest is only where you keep it. So there they are, 25 freezer tricks that outlived the Depression, and I have done every one of them with my own 2 hands at the table where I'm sitting now. I want you to picture the real stakes of this, not the cute ones. There is a woman watching me right now at her own kitchen table, on a cheque that comes once a month and runs out before the month does. And she has been made to feel that going without is the only honest thing left to her. It is not. The food business rented her grandmother's good sense back to her by the carton and the can and the convenience pack, and it has been doing it so long we forgot it was ever ours for free. Della's brown ledger still hangs in my basement on a finishing nail above the freezer, the pencil worn down to a stub, the throwaway column on the last page still half empty after 90 years. I cross my inventory off against it every Sunday. Half my grocery bill stays in my pocket, and it is not a trick or a coupon or a thing they can take back. It is only my grandmother's discipline, kept cold. So pull a pencil off the drawer tonight and start your own ledger. Tape it to the lid. Freeze the milk before the date and the broth scraps in the dough and the bananas before they're soft, and watch what comes back to you by the end of 1 month. Tell me down in the comments which one your own grandmother would have known by heart, because I read every single one and I want to hear her name. This is Granny Pearl, and I will leave the porch light on for you.